Hello, ladies and gents. How you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Been a much better day than yesterday. Yesterday was not all that bad, just everything felt a bit rushed. One of those days. Today, however, felt like I was able to take everything at a nice pace. Hopefully, yours was just the same. Anyway, for those of you just joining me today, my name is Ycey Narrates, but you may know me also as Helix, a dragon star. Or at least you might if I would just make the dang debut trailer already. How you doing, everybody? Yes, Shia, Jen, Lexi, Hannah's videos, White Wolf. Hey, Maracas, long time no see. Amity, Divine, LC. Good to see you too, Luna. Yes, feeling much better, thank you. You know, I'm feeling about as good as I was yesterday, physically. It's just, I guess I just wasn't ready for the day like I thought. Maybe I was overestimating myself. How are you doing? And Ella Bella? Or Ella Bella? Sometimes my pronunciation gets out of whack, so pardon me if anybody sees me mispronounce something. Ariel, good to see you. Hi, Brandy. Larissa, good evening to you too. Let's see. We've got more people trickling in. I love this. Red Valkyrie, good to see you too. Oh, we got quite a good number of... Yeah, quite a good turnout. Let me just move this over here. Just so that... Perfect. Just so I can see it. Everything so... There we go. Just so I don't have to look over to the right every time. Perfect. Much better. Alright, adjust this guy a little bit more. Rose Thornton and Shia Thor is doing great. He's not here right now with us, but that'll probably change momentarily. I just thought of an idea. I need to get a sprite for Thor. Every time he appears, I can just press a little toggle and he'll just... right there. He'll just appear like right to my left, or to my right, Well, your left, your right. I mean, this is my right, this is your left, but still. Or this is my right, this is my left. But still. Then you'll always know if Thor is here. Yeah, he's doing a little tired, I've noticed. I'll be honest, around this time of the year, Thor is always a little bit more tired than usual, but he always picks his energy back up. If not in February or January, no later than like March or April, he'll feel like a spring chicken all over again. Good to see you, Snow Queen. Now, let's see. Oh, I don't know if anybody saw. So, one thing that I just barely noticed today, a friend of mine, Anna Mod, posted a trailer to apparently there's going to be a live adaptation for How to Train Your Dragon. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely neutral, because I loved that movie growing up. Those movies, I should say, But I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it. Well, I am somewhat sure. Let me put it this way. I'm not neutral, I'm just under neutral. The trailer looks amazing. If you haven't seen it, not exactly a reaction content, and this is more of an ASMR stream, but I'll just keep it really light. I love films and I love good storytelling, so I always like to weigh in a little bit on that. So far, the voice actors, some of them are the original characters. The guy who plays Hiccup's dad, Stoic. The actual voice actor is going to play the voice actor is the same as the real actor, and he's built like a tank, that guy, so it's only fitting they got him. What was his name? Not Bram Stoker. That's a director. Yes, chat, a little Thor model. Good gosh, of course you bring it up. I'm sorry, Amity, I had to. Look, I'm not entirely excited about it, but I'm not exactly against it either. We'll put it this way. It was a good trailer. Why? Because it got me to go see the movie. it's making me want to see the movie. A lot of trailers have made me not want to see a film. Instead, they made me want to watch clips just to verify if it was a bad trailer, not a bad movie, or they were... They make me want to see a review. They make me want to see like a review of the movie. One of those people who are like, kind of like Nostalgia Critic or Jay Longbone, you know, somebody who makes somebody who's more entertaining to watch than the actual movie itself. So at least the movie did that. Anyway, the CGI looks tremendous. Like, it looks exactly like the original film, but just with a little bit more of a live adaptation. It's the perfect balance of live action and animation, if you ask me. Nostalgia. Other than that, though, I gotta say, as much as I'm probably not the target audience... Oh, what am I kidding? I'm part of the target audience. The movie is aimed for people who... Yes, Maracas, they brought Gerard Butler back. That is who I was thinking of. And yes, Gerard Butler, he's a big freaking guy. So having him play stoic and giving him a... You know, either growing out his beard a bit or just giving him a fake beard or extensions, it's fitting. He's a big freaking guy. I mean, Astrid's choice, it's questionable. It looks nothing like the original, I'm sure, and not even an artistic difference either. I'm not going to let that ruin the experience. I'm just going to say, well, I guess somebody wanted to feel creative that day. The thing is, though, why I'm below negative, why I'm below neutral on the film, though, is, you know, the film is clearly aimed at families, you know, kids, parents, but it's also aimed at people who, you know, grew up watching the older films, which are probably parents now, but still. So if they're going to make a live adaptation to something, personally, I think that they should deviate a little bit from it, from the original source, just in terms of storytelling. Like, you know, are they making it a live adaptation because they want to show us a... Are they deviating from... What am I trying to say? Words. Are they showing us a live adaptation because they want us to feel more immersed? Or are they showing us a live adaptation purely for the money? I mean, we know it's definitely the latter, but, you know, is it going to be a fun adventure? Are they going to show us sights that they couldn't see through CGI? You know, is it going to be much more emotional? Are we going to get a slightly grown-up version? I doubt there's going to be like blood or violence or anything. I don't mean that kind of grown-up. I would be absolutely amazed if they did. But, you know, don't make it darker. Just give us something a little new. Bram Stoker's the author of Dracula. Tech nerd, thank you for that. I'm like, I know it's not Bram Stoker. There we go, Gerard Butler. For pity's sake, Bram Stoker. Forget it. Listen, forget I said anything. Oh yeah, I forgot that Gerard Butler was in Phantom of the Opera. I thought that performance-wise he did a great job. I wasn't really a fan of the singing, but then again, I'm not much of a singer myself, so if they got him for the role, I'm amazed. I'm amazed that they actually said, yeah, we're going to give you the role of Phantom. We need you to learn how to sing. Ah. That's what happened with Star Wars and Halo. I felt a piece of me die after seeing this. Oh. Luna, I don't know what you mean by that. I know that there was a fan fiction of Star Wars made afterward, like the world's big... What was it? Luna, I don't know of any official Star Wars releases after George Lucas sold the product, but I do know that 3 very unpopular fanfics were made. 3 very expensive ones. One of them, unpopular opinion, actually made me cry. The Rise of Skywalker. I saw The Rise of Skywalker and it actually made me cry. I couldn't believe I paid money for that. So I would say that it definitely hit its mark. It hit its fans over the head and made us all cry. So you could say that by that logic, if the goal was to make us shed tears, it definitely did that. Welcome back, Lexi. But I don't know of any Halo adaptations, Luna. I mean, I'm sure that there is some. I don't know of any popular studios that made any that are worth mentioning. Worth mentioning? Yes, Red Valkyrie. Gerard Butler was Leonidas from 300. I admit, that is the guy I think of first whenever I think of Gerard Butler. The big frickin' guy from 300. Leonidas. Let's see, honestly... Amity, you say, honestly, as an animation nerd and someone who wants to work potentially in that field one day... Ooh, I gotta hear this. I just don't sit right with these live-action remakes. I want original things. I don't want remakes. Exactly. Exactly, Amity. See, I'm not wild about live-action animation or live-action adaptations unless they do something different. I liked the Aladdin live adaptation, but when somebody presented the idea of it being an over-the-top Bollywood-style film, where, you know, it's different music, where they maybe base it, maybe it's inspired from the original score, but the music is different, it's over the top. Maybe you actually let Will Smith rap as the genie. I'd be all for that. I love that idea even more. And the reason why I love it is because the end of the film, when they show us the credits for Aladdin, it was exactly that. People say, why wasn't this the entire film? Just an over-the-top, you know, Bollywood-style film with a bunch of awesome tricks, flips, dance moves, choreography. Why didn't you do that? Luna, Halo was the final straw for me. If you're feeling brave, it's on Paramount Plus. Luna, no, it's not. No, it's not, Luna. Like I said, there is no war in Ba Sing Se, dear. I know of no such Halo adaptation, dearie. Alright, don't make me get the candles out right now. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Yeah, Amity did hit the point, Maracas. The audio RP community delivers on that end. Thank you, dear. I'm flattered. Not too familiar with Halo and only liked one Star Wars film. Yeah, Anna's, there is actually a fan-made Halo adaptation. It's called Forward Unto Dawn. You can find it on a couple of different streaming platforms. In fact, YouTube. YouTube sometimes makes it free. YouTube sometimes streams it for free, so you can possibly look it up there. Let's see. So, I mean, personally, what I like are... here's an unpopular opinion. Actually, not an unpopular. I don't want to preface it like that. Here's an opinion that I don't know how people might take. After I saw the second Hunger Games movie, and bear in mind, I had read all 3 of the books years before the films came out. I was one of those kids. I got the impression that maybe films should deviate from the books a bit. And the reason being is that my sources were Jurassic Park, 1, the 3 Lord of the Rings films, the Peter Jackson, the Peter Jackson films, and, oh yeah, The Mist by Stephen King. All 3 of those films deviate from the original book, sometimes substantially. Hello to you too, Mossy Cosplays. If they don't consider you for a role in a cooler version of Frozen 3. Oh, Mackenzie, you're adorable if you think that I can get a role in Disney. I will take that compliment. You're welcome, Anna Rose. Glad you like it. Glad you like that audio, but this is just a nice little ASMR stream. We don't need to... Oh, wait a minute, let me just continue. Narratus, good to see you too. So, what I was saying was, I think that film adaptations should deviate from the book. However, they should keep, in my opinion, 2 things. 1, the most important, is it should keep the feel of the book. I'll get into that in just a second. The second one I think that they should keep is, well, of course, the plot. Hang on, I need some water. Alright, there we go. Lovely. It's funny how, as I was drinking the water, Helix here was pantomiming the motion of my mouth still. So it looked like I was just... You're just sitting there like, ooh. Like he spotted a bug off to the side, like, oh, that's pretty. But you could, though, Ycey. I'll make that Starboy script and make them change their minds and regret not putting it in. Ariel! Listen, the original design for this guy, you know, this is Helix. He is a star. He's a living star. In fact, that was the point of me making the cape like this. It's supposed to be like, you know, you've got the star pin right here on his coat. You've got a little crescent moon, some stars on the little left. That's not a lapel. What's that called? The left collar. You got another pin right here that's made like 2 stars put together on the right side. And of course, you've got the cape with a couple of more. You've got a nice starry sky cape with a couple of more stars attached to the bottom. You know, it's supposed to be like a royal star-like figure, an astral monarch of some kind. But because the lore of Helix is somebody who comes to different worlds and trains heroes there to try and protect it if it needs, if there's like an extraterrestrial threat, well, then he takes on a form that's suitable for that terrain. In this form, he looks like, well, a human being. That's parts. Sometimes he dresses like this royal figure, this distinguished monarch, this proper gent. And other times, like a dragon. Or, well, this is just his little hybrid form, somewhere in the middle. But, Ariel, I look forward to that script. Thank you. You wouldn't happen to be a Mass Effect fan, would you? If so, how do you feel about the show announcement? If not, I'm begging you to consider playing the trilogy. Lexi, I have not played it. I have heard a lot about it, but I'll add it to the... I'll go ahead and add it to the playlist. Maybe in the future. I've heard a lot of things about it. I've seen a lot of different videos for it. A couple of lore videos. Just some random tidbits here and there. I think it's a good premise. But... I love it when I get notifications about friends playing games on Steam. I'm just glad this one's a PG... I'm just glad that this is a PG or a PG game that they're playing. So, what I was saying earlier is, again, yeah, 2 things I think. I think that films should oftentimes, or at least should be open to the idea of deviating from the book just a little bit. You know, because I still also think that they should respect the original source by, you know, bringing the author's vision to the big screen. That's what they're doing primarily. But why I mentioned deviating from the plot just a little bit, why it's okay, is because for one, there are quite a few books out there that are like 18 pages, or what was it, like 1,800 pages long, you know? Like the Lord of the Rings are 3 fat freaking books. Like, these are not just books, these are elephant books. These are thwomps. These are literary thwomps is what they are. Like, these are cement blocks with words on pages. These are big freaking books. And do I even need to mention the Harry Potter series? So yeah, if it's a book that has some, you know, if it's a book that's short enough to be fully adapted into the film, by all means, follow the plot, follow the book. You know, if you do deviate from it, I think that filmmakers should at least deviate on some not so important parts, but so long as those not so important parts that are changed either A, reflect the theme of the book, or B, reflect, you know, a certain part of the book that you need to know that you can't really read, or that you can only read, so they're going to show you it in a different way. Like, let's say that there's somebody having a character monologue in their head in the book. Well, you can't really just give a narration constantly, especially when the movie hasn't been narrated, but maybe they'll have the character experience something, like make a decision, or go to an activity, or do something like that. And it's supposed to reflect this little inner monologue, you know, that kind of a change. Helix needs his own novel. White Wolf, if I can get a lot of donations for like streaming and whatnot, I am absolutely making a manhwa series for Helix. You can bet on that. I'm already trying to work with some people to make an extended debut, well, not a debut, a lore trailer for him, you know, to summarize chapter 1. But personally, But yeah, the reason why I mentioned that whole deviate from the book thing is there are a lot of points in The Lord of the Rings where they deviated from the book. But they're all minor things, technically. Welcome, Siamese. Let's see. There's a minor part in the first book where it's not Arwen who comes to rescue the Fellowship from the Night Wraiths, or from the Wraiths, the Ring Wraiths. It's instead a character who's never made it into any Lord of the Rings film, an elf named Glorfindel. Yeah, try to pronounce that, but Glorfindel, he's a hardcore warrior He's a very prominent character in Tolkien's The Silmarillion, but he never makes an appearance in any of the Lord of the Rings films. And it's primarily because he only shows up for a brief moment. Well, they deviated from that and instead had Arwen come in, because they wanted to show Arwen and Aragorn have a history. And I thought that they did that well. They set up the premise. They introduced her early on. Let's see. Oh yeah, and later on, in Rohan, in the second film for Lord of the Rings, there's a big siege that's about to take place at a castle called Helm's Deep, and a bunch of elves arrive to help the humans there. Well, in the book, no elves arrived. It was just the humans fighting against the orcs, good versus evil. However, there were elves fighting elsewhere in Middle-earth, but they never showed that in the movies because it was only mentioned in the books. There were some snig-bit chapters here and there where they demonstrate that, but the film wanted to demonstrate how those all happened. The film wanted to show us that humans were not fighting alone. So I thought that was a good little deviation, So yeah, don't deviate from major plot points. However, I'll be honest, even that has a cap on it. The reason why I brought up Stephen King's The Mist is because that one deviated a couple times from the book as well. And for the most part, it deviated only like minor things like why characters did what, But everything still happened the way they did, except the very end. The ending was different from how the book ended. But apparently fans loved it because it still felt like a Stephen King ending. So I'm like, that goes back to the first one. Thor's doing well, Mackenzie. Senor Ycey, you don't have a donation link? Oh no, I'll have to check that. Wonder why it's not here. But take my money, White Wolf. Listen, I'll post a money link in just a second. We're talking lore here. We got important stuff to go through. So, the first thing I talked about was, I personally think that films should deviate occasionally from their book sources, so long as, of course, the major plot points are still there, and, just so that any deviations go back to reflect the theme of the book, or the feel of it, we'll call it. The feel of it is, well, why I mentioned Jurassic Park is because Jurassic Park starts out in the book as a mystery science fiction novel. The book, I'll be honest, the first part of the book was very long. I thought it was boring at first. Like the first several chapters, I swear we were halfway through the book before we finally got to the island. Like, the first chapter was intense. I'll just say this. The first chapter of the book and the first scene in the movie both begin with a dinosaur killing somebody. So they kept that the same, but the movie changed it. In the movie, it was an adult, a worker at the park. In the book, it was definitely not an adult, and it was definitely not a worker. It was definitely not a worker, and in fact, it wasn't even an adult. I'll just say that there was a baby's crib involved in this scene, and a couple of small Compsognathus, little dinosaurs, over the crib. I will leave it at that, because that scene still kind of haunts me a little bit. I dream of my books becoming movies, but I think I'd die inside if they changed anything. Aw, Snow Queen. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I mean, though. I think that the primary case should be to make sure that the author's vision is put on screen. So any changes that happen, it should be because something in the book can't really be adapted well into the film. So they changed something so that, that's a possibility. I didn't know Jurassic Park had books, Mackenzie. Yes, Jurassic Park was an adaptation from the books. The first 2 films were adaptations of there's only 2 books, I should say. They never made a Jurassic Park 3, 4, 5, however number there are right now. I swear, these Jurassic Park films are becoming Land Before Time. First off, if that doesn't date my age, I don't know what else will. But yeah, the Jurassic Park films are coming out like candy. Coming out like free candy out of Willy Wonka's factory, just producing them left and right. Except they're so low grade now, you half expect an influencer to be saying, "I like my cheese drippy, bruh," along with it. Depending on what book it is, though, totally not side-eyeing those certain trashy, risque books turned into films. I think I know which one you're talking about, Amity, or which couple. It wouldn't kill them to check a Costa Rican map first. We still laugh about it. Montserrat, yeah, it's not just the Costa Ricans. There are Americans too who have actually been down there and know that there are not a whole lot of places that they could have actually placed that island. Still, though, you're talking about the weather, how it was different, or you're talking about... forget it. Look, back to the point I was making, though. If they had spent half of the movie just looking for a dinosaur, and then before we finally got to the island, I gotta tell you, that movie would have sucked. It would have been a horrible movie. I thought the book really needed to pick up the pace. I'm sure some book lover is gonna, write up an entire essay about how it was absolutely necessary for the book to spend like almost the first half not on the island, because we needed to establish chaos theory. We needed to establish butterfly effect without saying butterfly effect. We needed to establish that nature has a will of its own. We needed to establish that dinosaurs are running loose. We need to show who Alan Grant and the rest of the team are. I'm like, buddy, all of those can be established in just a couple of pages. I know it wouldn't do it justice in some cases. I know that books oftentimes can be run on I mentioned Stephen King a moment ago. Have any of you read it? Have any of you read any of these? There are some books where I swear he spends like who knows how many chapters just talking about the town's history, certain random people that show up for only a few minutes and then die immediately, but he'll give them an entire history. And honestly, it works. I love it when Stephen King does that because there's passion in all of his words. Nothing feels wasted. But in the Jurassic Park one, I can't deny there were a lot of sections in the first half that actually sucked me in. Like when Ian Malkovich is talking about, he didn't call it chaos theory, what was it? It was more like cause and effect and the randomness from it. Things like that. There were moments like that where I thought, okay, I'm listening, and then we would just move away from that and we're back to looking for dinosaurs. I thought, okay, could we have explained this on the island? But then after the book... Basically, let me summarize by this. I'm starting to ramble. The first half of the Jurassic Park book, though, basically could be summarized by saying humans try to control the inevitable, but nature and the world itself has been around for much longer than human beings have. And if nature wanted to do a hard reset and get rid of human beings, it could. But humans will still try to control the uncontrollable. And what do you know? In the latter half of the book, after we finally get to the island, after we finally see the dinosaurs, after we finally see everything that had been kept secret. Oh yeah, that was another thing. In the Jurassic Park books, we know that there are dinosaurs. There's 1 or 2 dinosaurs that we actually see, or at least like a limb from one of the dinosaurs. Anyway, when we finally get to the island, it's dropped like a freight train off a 200-story building onto poorly made cement, into a hollow tunnel underneath that's attached to a mine cellar. And it just keeps on plummeting until it reaches the end of the earth. And it keeps plummeting until it reaches bedrock, basically. Like, I will compliment the writer on that. Like, he does a great job on finally delivering it. It's not this glorious event like we see in the movie, but you do see all of the characters' reactions. I thought he did a great job at that. The second half of the film, book, however, is chaos. It is chaos, and it's honestly like a horror film, if you ask me. But why I think that actually fits for the film is because every change that they made to the film begins with symbolic gestures that kind of allude to things in the book. But it also follows the theme of the first half of the book demonstrating human beings try to control nature and being unsuccessful about it, seeing warnings from people like Ian Malkovich. And then the second half of the film is nature having a will of its own, breaking free, dinosaurs killing people. Oh, better yet, nature, what was it? Better yet, what causes everything to go awry was a natural disaster. Was it a hurricane or a tropical storm hits? Anyway, a tropical storm hits, knocks the power out. And on top of that, we've also got, I won't go into the subplot of Nedry having to build his own system from the ground up, being paid nickels and dimes for doing it, being, all of that. That's a whole other thing. But the basic premise of the book and the movie, despite all the changes, were because it begins with humans trying to take control of the uncontrollable, trying to tame nature, trying to wield, as Ian Malkovich put it, wield something like a god when really it's more like a toddler who found his dad's gun and wielding it out of control until nature gives it a hard reset. Okay. Jurassic Park audiobook when? Amity, I would love to make audiobooks. I definitely do not have the time to narrate them, though. That's the thing. Maybe in the future, maybe not. Better yet, here's what I'll do. I will look up the rights. And if I can find the rights for them, I'll make a couple of ASMR narrations where I just read the books. How does that sound? Let's see. Yeah, I'll look up the rights to different books and see what the licensing is and, what it's for. I'll see what I have to do, and because really I think all I have to do is look at when it was published, if the license is still up, or if it's in the public domain yet, because I actually listened to an audiobook of Jurassic Park years ago on YouTube. But I know that YouTube has done a crackdown in recent years of, any kind of audiobooks. But honestly, that was more like back in 2011, I think. Like, that was over a decade ago. But you never know. I'll look up the rights for it, and I'll look into narrating that and other books during these streams. My favorite adaptation was live-action Cinderella. All others I will pass on. Corey, I agree. I think that was the only good one Disney made, the live adaptation Cinderella. And again, that one has some changes, but it all fits back to the original theme. And they even made a theme for it. And I actually like that they gave reasons behind why everybody did what they did, including the evil stepmother. They gave her a reason. They didn't just say, yeah, she was nasty from the get-go and, I don't know, nasty for the sake of nasty. No. She was somebody who married for advantage, but maybe she also did want, a love life. Instead, she probably felt like she was being compared to a woman who was dead, which honestly is a pretty common theme with second marriages. But anyway, maybe just chapter by chapter, do it in small chunks. That's a possibility. Yeah, but as we all know, when someone wants to be God, it never ends well for them. Oh gosh, we're getting biblical, Neritas. You should. I'd love to hear different ranges of emotions you can do. Huh. Thank you, Divine. I'd like to do that too. I think I'd like to do that too. Now I'm just testing the mouth ranges on Helix's voice. Reading books? I'm already waiting with tea and my dog in my lap. Larissa, that's adorable. Live adaptation of Cinderella was enjoyable? Yes. Agreed, live adaptation. Oh gosh, look at that. You mentioned one live adaptation that we liked, and it's got chat's attention now. That and Maleficent. White Wolf? Okay, when I saw it for the first time, I thought the movie was okay. I thought the beginning was butt-kicking good, and then the rest of it fell off. I didn't like Maleficent, personally. I can understand if somebody else likes it, though, you know? It definitely wasn't for me. I don't think it was well written. I think that it started to be, but then maybe there were too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, too many writers that wanted to change it. Who knows? I respectfully disagree. Didn't care for the live-action Cinderella. Yeah, Amity, that's the thing. I don't really care what people think about certain films. I don't even care who you voted for. No, actually, never mind. Amity, you voted for the live-action Cinderella being horrible. That means I've got to cut you off. I'm sorry. I can't have such toxic friends in my life. In fact, I've got to cut you off and probably make a video about how it should be done, too. Favorite Thanksgiving dessert? Ooh, Snow Queen. You're asking the real questions here. Slow down, woman. I don't think I know you that well. Let's see. You know, the only Thanksgiving dessert I can really think of is cranberry sauce or pumpkin pie. And I don't really like either. Does chocolate cream pie count? If so, I really like that. Let's see, I said that in general for any movie. Oh, right, Naratus. Gotcha. You actually checked out the live action today as an option for family movie night? Oh, that's adorable, Amber. You do family movie nights. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm one of the younger side of my family. I'm the second youngest, so with me being my age, you know, the age where people could be married, divorced, and probably remarried, and shoot, maybe even re-divorced again in my state. People get married quick over here. And of course have kids somewhere along the way. Yeah, all of us are pretty much split up and in our own areas. We still text, though. We still contact each other, still talk. Man, Loki is a fairy tale god dragon. Lexi, funny enough, that is actually a part of the lore. Stars in Helix's lore are not gods, funny enough. I make a distinction that stars, or stars are just suns that are really far away. And a sun does not create the world, but it does maintain it. So stars are actually not gods. They're more in Helix's lore. They're more like caretakers, you know. That's why they train heroes on different worlds, because they're trying to keep their world safe. They're taking care of them. You know, they probably watch the world get created. You know, it's like raising your kid. You're like, I love this world. Or it's like raising a pet, perhaps, or like a kid, or somebody that you love dearly. You're like, I love this world. It's like, I love this world. I watched it grow up. I helped to raise it. I would never want anything bad to happen to it. Let's see. Amity, how dare you? Yeah. Sorry, Amity. I'm sorry, Amity, but you've triggered me. Like, I just made 2 pumpkin pies during the weekend because of the batter. Oh, speaking of triggering, pumpkin pie. Harumph! No, pumpkin pie is good. I don't personally like it, but if this makes sense, when I try something and I think, I don't like it, but the texture's good, the flavor doesn't do it for me, but it's a good, straightforward flavor. It's simple. I think a lot of other people would like this, just not me. That's how I feel about pumpkin pie. Let's see. I see you wouldn't believe who I'm related to. Hint, it's a celebrity. Do you have even the slightest idea how little that narrows it down? Let's see. Most of chat already knows. Chat, help me out. I'm not an animator, but... Lexi says, I'm not an animator, but I'm looking for an excuse to draw more. I'll be on a flight soon. Oh, have a good flight, Lexi. Oh, speaking of which, chat asked me to fix the donation button. Hang on a second. Delay ads, no. Oh, that's curious. I wonder why this, I could have sworn I had it made, you know, not just a donation button, it was like a... Wait a minute. People have made donations, so I thought I do have a donation button. What in the dickens? Hang on a second. Wait, I wonder if it's on the stream settings. Nope. DVR, it's still there. Analytics, viewer activity, stream health. There's a shopping one. I don't want to tag products here. Okay, monetization is on. Stream settings. Do not accidentally click the insert ads button, Ycey. Oh my goodness, there's an insert ads button. My gosh, I guess that does make sense. You could just be like, we'll be right back after this ad, or right after these messages. Reactions, yep, timestamps, moderation activity, participants, community. Yeah, show support. There is a button that says show support for Ycey, super stickers, or super chat. So there is actually a donation button. It should be at the bottom. It looks like a little $sign around a square. You have triggered me, sire, Amity. Oh man. Yeah, Amity, that's why we say wishing somebody gets into a car accident is not only psychotic, but it's a basic insult. Wishing somebody to write a book and have it get a poor adaptation is a very real nightmare. Oof. Like, imagine spending all of that time working on a beloved piece of novelry for you, or as I should say, a novel piece of writing. You spent all your time, your energy. You had to write it in between your job and other day-to-day activities. Ladisa says, hint, all the single ladies. Mackenzie, are you related to Beyonce? Yes, Maracas, it's the super chat thing. Yeah, let me know if it works. I mean, I guess I'll see if it works, because I'll get a little notification that says you donated. Oh, that's another thing. If you really want me to see your chat, I actually won't be able to see the tags from... If you tag at Ycey Narrates, it doesn't really... That's for tagging other people in the chat. That doesn't really tag me unless you're a mod. However, if you really, really want me to see your comment and you don't want me to miss it, then definitely show a donation, because sometimes the chat moves a little too quick for me to stop rambling and take a look, you know? It's really just something I can't help, of course. Gosh. No. Yeah, it seems that the donation button is on. Oh, I guess we resolved that. Yeah. If anybody does want to donate, there is a button at the bottom, but enough of that right now. You made pumpkin sugar cookies with chocolate chips last year for Thanksgiving. Ooh, Siamese. You're speaking my language now. Yeah, see, Siamese, I probably would not have seen that comment if, even though you tagged me in it. A lot of people do tag me in their own comments, too, so maybe that's why it doesn't pop up for me. Surprisingly, they didn't turn out too bad. Hey, well done. Congratulations, Siamese. Next week, I'm making thumbprint cookies. Ooh, color me curious. You gotta explain to me, Siamese, what are thumbprint cookies? Now, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Oh, those are delicious. I love those. Doing very good. Hey, GW, how are you doing? I hope a famous author adds an installment to a beloved series the day after your novel is published. Oh, Lexi. Oh, that's evil. Ycey, I'd love to hear what your favorite sweet treat is. I made tiramisu brownies last night, but I need to find something else to make. I don't think I've ever tried... I know I've tried tiramisu, but I always struggle to think of something in my mind of... I always struggle to think of tiramisu in my mind. Like, I can't ever... It's like when you know somebody's name, but you can't attach a face to the name. You're like, that's a familiar name, or I've seen that face, but I just can't match the two of them together. Tiramisu, all I remember is it's good. Ycey, remember that meme I sent you? The one about the Nutrigrain Valley bar? I'm pretty sure I'll remember it. Speaking of can't tie a name to the face. Let me just look that up. Let me just look that up. Do you wanna jog my memory, Amity? You wanna jog my memory on what that meme was, the commercial? The Nutrigrain bar? I hope a Dark Souls game is released the same day as yours. Larissa. Oof. Soft, glazed gingerbread cookies are my favorite. Oh, those are the thumbprint cookies. Usually use strawberry and apricot for the center and roll them into walnuts. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those Nutrigrain or Fig Newton style bars, you know? Not really a fan of fruit in my sweet treats. Thank you, Ebony. You got me. Holy Hannah, my throat is just... It's not sore, it's just, gunky. Oof. Let's see. I do see the meme that you sent me about the DreamWorks. It says, who requested this? Let's see now. Make ginger spice cookies. You know, I know a lot of people here who are really excited to make gingerbread cookies. Okay, I gotta ask, chat. This is a very controversial take, so I have to give a warning about this one. This may be very politically divisive too in the chat, but I need to ask everybody, do you put your Christmas decorations up in November or December? Or do you put them all the way up in October? And when do you put your Halloween decorations up? Because here in my state, we actually put Halloween decorations up as far back as September or August, and then we put Christmas decorations up in November, sometimes alongside your Thanksgiving decorations. So, yes, I am one of those people. Okay, feel free to unfollow me and good riddance, but I put my Christmas decorations up in November, and I put my my Halloween decorations up in September. So, okay, enough with the pretend offendedness here. All right, but genuine question though, because I like walking into homes and seeing decorations everywhere. It's a very homey, artsy feeling. You're all putting me in a baking mood. Larissa, the sorceress of the kitchen, get going. I see for your throat, sprinkle, spoon of honey and sprinkle cinnamon on top. Helps with the gunk. Oh, that's what I've got right here. Nice little mug of just, I've also got hot lemon and honey. So no cinnamon, but it's like nice hot lemon juice and honey. Really helps with the throat. Don't have it in my country. Oh, I'm sorry, Bucario. Oh, true. That's I guess they should be asking like the Canadians and the Americans this. I guess this is more like an American question. Shoot, I just pulled an American. I just asked an American a question that really only pertains to the United States, but I just asked it on the internet as if everybody celebrates it. For pity's sake, I just pulled an American. Oh man. December. Though one of our neighbors puts them up a month early. Okay. Yeah, so I guess for everybody who actually celebrates either Christmas or, shoot, I know there are a few other holidays. There's Yom Kippur, there's Hanukkah, there's Kwanzaa. You know, whatever you celebrate in December, which any of those big holidays, do you put your decorations up in November or December? Or before that? Let's see, after Thanksgiving I put up Christmas, while mid-October I put up for Halloween. Oh, Jen, you are coming in late there with the Halloween decorations if you were in my state. Mariah Carey would be proud. Maracas, we do not speak the unholy scripture here. We do not speak that name here. Honey and lemon, man after my own heart. Yes, Lexi. Done my Christmas decorations 2 weeks ago, which is too early for me, but it's around November. Hey, I like that. Yeah, for me, I've got a very weird amalgamation in my house at the moment. It's mostly fall decorations, but I'm going to be putting up the Christmas decorations alongside it. So you'll have pumpkins mixed with, you know, snowman bowls and nativity scenes and Santa Claus and Christmas lights. I don't think I'll put up the actual tree until after Thanksgiving, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've got, a little amalgamation of both. And then after Thanksgiving, it's just Christmas stuff. But I know some people who are absolutely religious about not putting their Christmas decorations up until after Thanksgiving. Like, it's almost kind of funny because they just have good humor about it, you know? Like, sure, they'll put up one Santa outfit or one blow-up Santa, but it'll be sideways and it'll be right next to a turkey that's holding up a sign, "Wait your turn, fat boy." Athena, in the Philippines, we start decorating by September. Athena. Look, Athena, Pinoys are just God's gift to humanity. Pinoys and Mexicans are just blessing the world with their own senses of humor, so thank you for that. My family doesn't decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, or at least the week before. Oh, okay, yeah, understandable, Amity. Sorceress of the Kitchen, you're welcome, Larissa. Just might start using that. Well, if you ever work on 2 dishes at the same time, now you've got to make sure to say something like, you are using meta magic. If you're working on 2 dishes at the same time, you got to call it meta magic. Or multi-magic. Let's see. Oh, yes, you sent the meme, Amity. Do-do-do. Amity! That is a war crime. That is a war crime. Chat, do you want to know what I just opened my phone to see? Do you want to know the blasphemy that just got sent to me, that just got blasted to me? This is an insult I don't think you should ever say to anybody unless they really get on your nerves, but oof, it says, STFU, shut up before I open a Nature Valley bar on your bed. Ah! Oh! You know, speaking of Christmas decorations, I think I should probably get some Christmas background for Helix here, you know? I definitely have a good idea, though, for a little, let's call it a color palette swap for Helix here. You know, currently he's got like a blue, white, gold, and black theme here. You know, a blue and white theme with a gold and black accents. Or black secondary and gold accents. I've, got a little bit of a surprise. It's a nice little color change, we'll call it. Amity just laughs. Amity, all you typed was, "Ha!" And all I heard was maniacal laughing as a witch cackled across the sky. Thank you, Maracas. Oh, look at you. I'm going to give you a little like. Here we go. Lovely. Very nice of you. Thank you, maracas. I'll put that $1 in a nice little cubby and we can put it towards the manhwa donate. Or what is it called? Manhwa progress. The Helix lore videos. Typical friend banter. Yeah, that sounds about right, White Wolf. Amity is the type of person who I could get that from and I would not be upset. I would just say, woe to the person who dares tick you off. That's like wishing somebody, that's like wishing somebody to experience intense diarrhea in the middle of traffic and a sudden sneeze coming on. That's just, ugh. That's evil. What did the bed do to you, Divine? That's a good question. See, that's a good point, though. What did the bed do to you? It's like, don't take it out on the bed. Take it out on the person if you have to actually get it resolved with the person. But, I see, we're passionate about Christmas. Thanks. Jeez, you people sound passionate, Athena. Lexi says, I cast Santa Claus on the dragon. Well, I'm, see if this works. Better yet, let me see if I can actually adjust this right now. I know that in the settings tab, you can, let me just grab this model right here. You can't exactly see what I'm doing. I'm opening up the menu and seeing if I can add some masks to some of these layers. Let's see the model, nope, gotta go down to the bottom of this menu. Past all the animations, past the auto breathing. Apparently I went too far. Here we go. Fix white outlines, no thank you. Customize model. It's been a long time since I did this, so I almost don't want to do this, but yeah, I'm not going to do this for now. Oh, Luna, thank you. I hope you wake up 5 minutes before your alarm. Thank you, Luna. Wait, you meant that as a compliment, right? You meant that as a compliment, right? I took that as a compliment. We'll put it this way. I like the feeling of if I'm well rested and I wake up before my alarm, like I'm ready to get up, then I can either go back to sleep or I can just get up because I'm well rested. I feel ready for the day. If I get woken up by my alarm, bear in mind, 9 times out of 10, I make sure I have a violent alarm because I need a That was an intentional spasm from Helix, by the way, because I wanted to express just how much I need to jolt myself awake. With Helix, with myself, I make sure that I'm jumped awake so that my heart's racing, I'm ready to go. Oh my goodness, I'm probably going to die of a heart attack at 35. Anyway. Gemini! Hey, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see. She also streams, by the way. You posted the pumpkin sugar cookie recipe on Discord? Siamese, yes. You beautiful woman, thank you. You are a woman, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Welcome, Gemini. Funny enough. Hey, Gemini, do you want to know what's funny? We were just talking about baking a moment ago and holiday decorations. I feel like we just conjured you up a moment ago. So, there we go. I'm just going to put that away. I can see the other memes later. Thank you, Amity, for that. Dearie, it's not towards the bed, it's towards the person. I guess it's a bit of both there, Amity. My bed is my sanctuary, my safe place. Actually, my safe place is my books. Yeah, that sounds about right, White Wolf. So, for me, if I'm exhausted and I wake up 5 minutes before my alarm, yeah, that might be good or it might be bad. I might be just winding myself down and then the alarm jolts me awake all of a sudden. Some have described my alarm clocks as being violent. When I say violent, I don't mean like a typical iPhone. I don't even have an iPhone, by the way. I have a Pixel, but my alarms sound like a traditional iPhone that's waking you up like there's a serial killer outside your door. The kind that say, you need to get up right now or the apocalypse will take you. You need to get up right now or I'll put you down again. You know? Instead, the reason being is because if I just get one little heartbeat, like jump, then I'm awake. But if I wake up on my own 5 minutes before the alarm, if I'm well rested, I may not want to go back to sleep, so that's a good feeling. That's what you meant, right, Luna? Okay, I've never actually celebrated Christmas, family stuff, but one time before winter break, my friend surprised me with a gift related to ROBTD, because, here we go, we joked we were one of the characters in our group. Nice. Those are some good friends, Maracas. My alarm clock is the Legolas remix of They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard. Amber, I'm amazed that you can keep that up. I'm amazed that that meme can stay in your head all day because, let's face it, that's what's going to stay in your head all day. And you're okay with that. Hey, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're okay, Gemini. Use the Nature Valley bar as a bookmark, Lexi, then you're never going to be able to close that book. It's like, then it's just going to keep it open forever. I mean, I guess you'll never lose your path. I guess you'll never lose your place in that book. Phone says wake up. Yeah, exactly, Mango. Also, welcome, Mango. In the words of Mrs. Doubtfire, don't fuss with me. Don't fuss with me. Currently reading Percy Jackson, but I haven't seen the show yet. I wouldn't recommend it, Jillian. I enjoyed the Percy Jackson books when I was growing up. I started thinking about one character from Epic the Musical, or Epic the Musical got me thinking about one. But so far the two movies are less like adaptations and more like somebody's bastardization of the books, you know? Like, when somebody says the joke, I hope that your book gets a poor adaptation, that's the first one that comes to mind. I mean, some might say, what about Avatar: The Last Airbender? Yes, you're a woman. Okay, Siamese, thank you. But if anybody says, you know, I hope your favorite book gets a bad movie adaptation, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. If somebody says, well, what about Airbender? I mean, that's a bad adaptation, but that's a bad show adaptation. Oh, wait, that's right. There's a new adaptation that's out there now, so I can't really say the adaptation. Anyway, yeah, the Percy Jackson movies are more like what happens, less like I feel like the Percy Jackson movies are less like an adaptation and more like a very sadly desperate parent who sold their child into a slave labor camp, and that child in this case is a book. And when the adaptation came back, the book is now grown. It's clearly been shown lots of abuse, and for some reason the parent sent him back for a second round. Ryerdan, what were you thinking? And now they're making it into a show. I really don't care to see it anymore. I like that they want the kids to, look more their age, most of them. Some of them look almost nothing like the character. Who knows? Maybe it's got the spirit of the book somewhere. Let's see. They did that to the Artemis Fowl books, and I'll never forget them. Oh, shoot. I never read the books, but I finally heard somebody else's take on it, how it's actually supposed to be like a villain Artemis Fowl. And instead the films did this horrible thing where he's neither a hero nor a villain, or... yeah, I heard that. We'll put it this way, for somebody who's never read the books, at the very least, a film that's adapted from a book should just be something that anybody could enjoy, you know? I didn't enjoy it. Maze Runner, that's another film. That's another book-to-film adaptation that I have not read, but I've seen. I thought that was okay. Definitely confusing. Confusing in the sense of, if it's the apocalypse, if we have no resources to run a civilization, why are we running a high-tech maze and killing off, our future generation, a bunch of teenagers and young adults, in a maze full of monsters that have been bioengineered, of all things, showing that we can clearly manipulate that type of matter and whatnot. Why are we just, not building a new civilization instead of that? And some people will say, the books explain that, to which I ask, when? When does the book explain that? When does the series explain that? Is it like, does it explain it like a good how-to video, where it's in the first minute of the video, and then the rest of the video explains the details? Or is it like one of those horrible essays stretched out, that could have been a 5-second video, but instead they stretched out into 15 minutes for the ad revenue? Is it one of those series? Maybe it is a good series, and I'm just giving it a hard time because of the film. But still, exactly, Go Kitty. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Oh, goodbye, Amity. See you in a second. Getting up is rough, though making pancakes in the morning... I actually read that as batter. Getting up in the morning? Rough. Rough. But making pancakes in the morning? Batter. Batter. Also, good to see you, Madam Kingsley. Also, welcome, Hala. Good to see you. Let's see. He, as in Artemis Fowl, thank you, Mango. He starts off as a criminal genius who's willing to hurt and kidnap people to get what he wants, and slowly develops some empathy for the elf cop he kidnaps. Oh, that could be an interesting take. How do you mess up something like that? Never mind. You just take out the complexity in the character and make him two-dimensional. That's how you mess up. That's how you mess up somebody. Insult. Let's see, Lexi. Insult. I hope your book gets a bad movie adaptation. Compliment. I hope your book gets a ton of fanfic. I'm also assuming that's what you meant. You hope your book gets a bad movie adaptation. You just wrote, book gets a bad... Or, I hope your book gets a movie adaptation. I'm assuming you meant bad for the insult, right? Compliment. I hope your book gets tons of fanfic. Luna or Lexi, that could definitely mean a couple of things, the fanfic side. Here's that a book series I love is going to be turned into a movie. Me, trembling. Is this fear or an excitement I'm feeling? That's a real feeling. Could have done Percy Jackson better. They could have done Percy Jackson a lot of ways. I mean, they could have... It's not that they could have done Percy Jackson better. They just could have done Percy Jackson good. Just anything but whatever hogwash trash that was. And then they spin the block and do it again. Like, just stop. Just let him... He's already dead. Like, just stop. He's already dead. Stop kicking him. It's literally that one meme, the stop, he's already dead meme. I like to make French toast personally. Like to make French toast personally. I'm the kind who makes breakfast for dinner. Not a bad thing to do. Breakfast for dinner. Ooh, that's good. I never read these books as a kid. I was a Warriors Cats dude. Not sure what that is, Go Kitty. I found that Maze Runner was really confusing. I mean, the base idea is interesting, but only seeing the movies, it is what I've felt, yeah. Okay, thanks for coming, Siamese. I have a forensics meeting tonight to hear the feedback on my speech I delivered for my first tournament this week. If I'm not back, have a good night. Okay, hey, thanks, Siamese. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see. For everybody who's joining us today, hey, Your Majesty, were you able to collect your tribute? I have not had the chance to do that, Mango, but thank you so much. I will be doing that just after this. Why was Helix's mouth moving a second ago? Helix might be alive. Helix is my VTuber model, for the record. Oh, Warrior Cats. Holy, that series. That is old. I'm surprised anybody's heard of that. I mean, I've never read it myself, but back when I was a kid, and I mean like elementary school, we're talking like 7, 8, 9-year-old Ycey here. I had a friend who was interested in Warrior Cats, and he only brought it, or she only brought it up because I had mentioned one that another friend of mine, he and I were reading Guardians of Ga'Hoole. You know, she was reading a book about warrior cats. I was basically reading a book about warrior owls. You know, clearly different. Look, we were kids. We had a lot of differences and a lot of similarities. It's like history. It rhymes. Perks of Being a Wallflower. Great book and great movie. Hey, Gemini. Yeah, that's actually a good point, Gemini. Make a book that you don't care gets a lot of traction. Just let it be a little wallflower. Let it be a little wallflower that just enjoys sitting on the sidelines, just by itself, peace and quiet. Percy Jackson reminds me of the main character from the Polar Express. I guess I can kind of see it in terms of appearance. Let's see. I was asked as a guest to make a podcast, what is something you'd do to make a franchise or movie better? Erase episode 9 from existence. Larissa, I gotta say, when I saw Rise of Skywalker in theaters, which, first off, that's, I think, the last movie I ever saw in theaters. I got a funny story, a couple of funny moments from that movie. When I saw it, I think the movie had only been out for just a couple of weeks. I hadn't heard much about it, didn't really care to listen. I think I was in college still at the time. This was back in 2019 or 18. I think it was 2019. It's like my last year at college. Anyway, I decided to see it. It was a Friday night. I wanted to do something. So I went out, got a ticket, sat in the theater. There were like 12, 15 people in the total theater. And it's a big theater, so it looked almost empty. Ycey, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a book. Exactly. Oh, it's a book title. Right. We're going to pretend I knew that. No, I did not know that. Okay. Interesting. I've never heard of that book before. A Wallflower made me cry because it was so relatable to my life. Aw. Luna, I'm sorry. That sounds like a good book. You're going to have to tell me a bit about it, chat. But while I was sitting in the Star Wars theater, what happened was I actually walked in a little bit late. They had already started. They had already found the dagger. I walked in right as they said, "They fly now? They fly now." I sat down and thought, maybe it was funny? It wasn't. Nobody was laughing. There was like 12, 15 people. I sat down. I remember there was a certain scene where somebody had... Try to remember what part of the movie. I think it was actually where... Oh yeah. In Rise of Skywalker, there was a scene where Chewbacca gets killed, in quotation marks. And, it's supposed to be very sad. We see everybody's reactions. It's supposed to be this terrible thing. And then the next scene, Chewbacca's alive. I remember somebody audibly yelled, "What?" And it made all the 12 or 15 of us in the theater bust up laughing. And later on, when Rey Rey, the main character, pulls out a knife, and for anybody who's blessed to not seen Rise of Skywalker, I'll say that she tries using the edge of the knife as a map, because this knife, one of the edges is all bent up and messed up, but she tries lining it up with the ruins of a certain building. You heard that right, ruins. As in, stuff that wears away with time and changes, and crumbles to dust. And apparently, if she lines up this knife properly, exactly as those ruins are, it leads to a secret entrance. Right as we were doing that, like 3 or 4 people started laughing. It was like that one meme, the "oh no, 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 no." I can't do the impression. It was like that meme. It was like somebody played a laugh track. I was just shaking my head like, no, 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 no. Except I sounded more like Cleveland from Family Guy, so it was like, now, 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 now. And right then and there, I hear a guy bust up in the background like, everybody busted up laughing. Like those dozen or so people in that room made this film actually enjoyable. I will never forget that day. I should have kept in contact with more of those people. Probably could have talked with them during the pandemic, you know? They seem like a good group. It do be like that indeed, Jim. Let's see. That's how I felt when I went to see the last MHA movie. My Hero Academia? Oh, yeah, My Hero Academia movie that came out recently, but thankfully someone next to me was fun to get along with. I even gave her a tissue as we both cried a bit. Do I have a favorite Star Wars movie? Shia, I don't really. I did like Rogue One. That was a good one. Surprisingly... shoot. I think the Star Wars films are good. They're not up there in my favorite category. Just in my enjoyables category, for one reason or another. Shoot, this is hard. If I had to say best work of art, Empire Strikes Back. I'd say that has to be like the best one in the entire series. Because it's just a work of art. You know, it's got a lot of iconic scenes in it. Believe it or not, I think the third movie, Revenge of the Sith, was good for 2 reasons. 1, for the terrible writing in the memes, and 2, best battle sequences in the movies. Oh! Except Phantom Menace, the very first one, gets the award for best lightsaber fight in the entire Star Wars franchise. Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn versus young Obi-Wan. Best lightsaber fight ever. So yeah, even though the prequels had terrible writing, it was good terrible. It was fun terrible. It was memeable. But at the very least, it had some of the best fighting, best action sequences, and yes, the best lightsaber fight ever, in my opinion. I've never seen a scary movie and I want to watch one. I get scared easily, and I'm wondering if you have any recommendations. Let's see. I'm not much of a scary movie person myself, typically because, in my opinion, the plot is never that good. And no, I don't mean like, I'm not expecting a Lord of the Rings style plot. I'm expecting something like, make the story make sense. Make people make good decisions that just don't turn out well, you know? See the first Ghostface. Oh, what is it called? Not Scream. Oh yeah, it's Scream. The movie Scream. The very first one. See that one. It's not so much of a scary film. It's a good horror film, but I like that they turned a bunch of tropes on their heads. I liked it. It was good. Let's see. I remember watching Rise of Skywalker in theater. Yep. And we were so excited when it ended. Me and my uncles looked at each other and continued heading out of the mall in silence. Oof. That just sounds like... disappointment was palpable in that, Luna. Or Hala, my mistake. I was reading a comment. Yeah, Jen, memeable. As in memes, like an internet joke. You can create a lot of memes or internet jokes out of that content. Memeable. New English word of the day. Helix has an ice princess castle. Sea serpent. A sea of serpents. You did not just call my cave, my crystal cavern, my cave of diamonds here. You did not just call it a princess castle. Oh, crap. The more I look at it, though, you're kind of right. And the thing is, I actually do have a castle background, too. But the problem is, there were a couple of glitches that I need the artist to fix, but unfortunately, she still hasn't fixed it, probably because the commission is complete, so she's just probably either swamped with work, most likely, or maybe just keeps forgetting about this one, because, you know, already got paid for it, so got bills to pay, so you gotta handle the more important stuff first, you know? But once the little glitch with that background is done, I'd be happy to share it. Yeah, but Helix's VTuber lore here, like, yes, that is a throne over there that my wing is kind of partially covering. Oh, wrong button. It's like, I'm naked. I surprised myself so hard that Helix fell asleep. Oi, wake up. There we go. Helix hibernated. So yes, this area in the background, this is a crystal cave. I instructed the maker of it, and I gave him a few reference arts for these walls. I took a bunch of arts to make it look extraterrestrial. The idea behind this cavern is that it's actually a hollowed-out meteorite from another world, crashed here. All these little crystals here hold memories, stories, and yes, they are indeed very valuable treasure. They are indeed very valuable treasure here, too. That is indeed a throne in the background, too, just to represent, you know, Helix here. Something that he would sit upon. So yes, I'll be right here in the background, just, hello, how are you today? And what brings you into this cavern here? But no, it'd be more like a dragon. The only problem is, I cannot find somebody who wants to animate a full-on dragon as a VTuber model. I'd love to actually have that as a model. I just need to find an artist who'd be willing to do that. There we go, bring the wings back. Luna, holy six-pack! Hey, you know, listen, Luna, come on, wake up, Helix. Listen, Luna, I work out, you know, he's just a... Listen, he's a guy who works out. All I can say is, let me put that away before I get demonetized. No, this is not for what some of you might be thinking. This is in case well, it was originally supposed to be a toggle for this guy too, so I'm supposed to have scales on my face. Wait, I missed it. What happened? Go Kitty, you didn't... Nothing happened. Go Kitty, nothing happened. Yep, you saw that. Alright, the point of me... Right, just so that I could commission extra outfits in the future for this guy without having to create a brand new model, was so that I could just create a base model, both with scales and without scales, and then, you know, I can just commission the model on top of it. And, you know, that way I get to keep the character as is, and the model changes. Helix went full naked. Yep, he did. Put your shirt on! The shirt's on, Mom. I mean, Mango. Helix, manners. Invite me for a drink first, sir. Oh, hello. Hey now. It's like, hey now, I'd at least invite you for dinner before I start doing that. Anyway, it looked beautiful, Ycey, the music too, and most importantly, Helix as well. Well, thank you. He's supposed to look more futuristic, otherworldly, so there's a lot of crystals and themes like that. Speaking of which, somebody mentioned Dark Crystal never gets mentioned. Yeah, Dark Crystal's definitely got its own theme, its own group of people, its own niche. Yes, Jim, Dark Crystal. Okay, fun little fact, everybody. I never saw the Dark Crystal all the way as a kid. I went to my best friend's house and he had it playing in the background. So I remember seeing a part of it, and it was definitely a weird looking film. classic Jim Henson, weird but charming. I then, years later, saw the Netflix series, and I loved it. Oh, the world building. It truly felt not just like a reskin of our own world, which I'm okay when people do that. Like, Middle-earth, people could say it's a reskin of our world because there's still humans, there's still horses, it's still medieval times. The armor and stuff just looks different, or there's extra creatures there. Some people could just say, oh, it's a reskin of our world. Still, the Dark Crystal's world in that Netflix series, my gosh, it turned somebody like me who didn't care about the franchise into wanting a season 2. Yeah, truly, it's a good show. I'm sad they canceled it. Did you refer to Ycey Helix as a hussy? No, go kitty. No, go kitty. Helix is not a hussy. Let's see now. I gotta say, though, it does make me think there are some similarities between the Dark Crystal, like being a crystal from another world that, I guess, has great power in it. In Helix's lore, each of these crystals you see in the cavern here, well, they actually possess power themselves, and they're made from Helix's original star. If you're curious about the details, crystal memories, like Superman in his place of solitude, and those crystals that let him communicate with his family, exactly like that, Corey. But picture these crystals being full of power, not just memories. The memory just let you, like, they're given a memory, or they're given an idea. They're given a memory or an idea just to get a certain somebody to pick up the crystal. But the crystal forces them to face an inner demon, or confirm that they've already conquered it, what was previously an inner demon. The idea is that Helix sends people to kill himself. I promise there is a reason behind that. So, here we go. So remember how I said that for those of you who were here at the beginning of the stream, you probably know this. If anybody is just barely arriving, you're probably wondering, what do you mean by that? Well, so, yes, and chat brings up The Last Unicorn as well. Yes, Gemini, good film. I only recently saw that with my most recent ex-girlfriend. Nice, charming film, gotta say. I liked it. I'm glad she introduced it to me. Wait, introduced me to it. But as I was saying, Helix as a dragon, Helix is a living star. He's a guardian star. In the world of Helix's universe, where he's from, you know how isekais will always have some sort of deity that takes, a person from this world and puts them on that world, either having them born into that new world or just teleports them straight there? Well, in Helix's world, all of those beings are actually stars. There are guardian stars and there are guides. There are guides and there are guardians. Guides, teach. They're sources of wisdom, oftentimes. They take unfinished stories. They take adventurers or prospective adventurers who have not yet completed their stories. They put them on other worlds and help them complete those stories. And guardians train them. Helix is a guardian star. One of the ways that he teaches people and trains his adventurers and heroes, trains adventurers to become heroes, is he acts as an end boss. Helix's entire story for chapter 1, could just be summed up to, what does an end boss do while they wait for their adventurers to arrive? More importantly, what do they do when the adventurers stop coming and no one's there to challenge them anymore? Not only that, but when a world still needs heroes but doesn't have any, when end bosses all over the place are taking control. Well, Helix is an end boss that sends a bunch of adventurers on their different personal quests. They could be ranging from far and wide or close by. But ultimately, he teaches them he helps them vanquish their inner demons and start as adventurers and become heroes. So, by the time they reach Helix's cave, he's no longer Helix at this point. He's the Guardian Dragon Empyrean, you know? Takes on a big old name. Whoever comes to that cave has to best the dragon. If they beat the dragon, Helix bestows them with one of these crystals on the cave. The crystal is both valuable in terms of monetary gain once it's cracked open, but it also gives them power. If they fail to best the dragon, they're basically sent back to the beginning, but they're given a small boon to help guide their way, you know, an adjustment to their strategy. So, yes. Now, Helix, of course, doesn't die from each one of these encounters, and honestly, he's not trying to kill the adventurers, so he doesn't die in turn. But he does disguise as a different type of dragon each time, just so that people don't get wise to what's going on. Oh yeah, in the smaller details, I actually revealed that Helix, as Empyrean the Dragon, you know, he actually works with a local adventurers guild in order to test high-ranking adventurers. Helix will basically walk in as this guy. He'll walk in as a prince, you know, just do a cordial meeting with the Adventurers Guild, but there's one member in the guild who actually knows who Helix really is. And so, behind doors, they'll just say, "So, your great wingedness, you called?" Like, "So, yeah, we need you to, well, apparently this person says that he's got a quest from you." He goes, "Ah, you made it this far, well done." But more importantly, there is actually one thing that Helix himself is looking forward to. He cannot breathe fire, like his kin on this planet. He only produces an icy breath. Now, a dragon's flame in this world is kind of tied to their sense of meaning, their sense of belonging. Now, I'll spare the details on Helix's backstory, but yes, he's kind of lost somebody that he cared about. And so he's lost his flame in turn. One of the adventurers that would come by, however, kind of helps him restore that old flame, restore that old fire inside him. And for a while, Helix has hope for this new adventurer, hoping that they'll become one of the greatest of all time. In fact, this adventurer keeps coming back 2 or 3 times. Well, eventually, the adventurer stops coming. And Helix is then left thinking to himself, what does an end boss do when the adventurer they've been looking for and longing for doesn't arrive anymore? Moreover, when the world still needs that hero, he might just have to do things himself. So that is ultimately the story behind Helix here, or at least chapter 1, what all these crystals are, this cave itself. So yeah, I'm almost done with that debut video too. I just need to edit it. I'll probably edit it once I'm done with this. Better yet, I mean, I was just going to stream for 2 hours today because my voice is a little hoarse. Honestly, I think I'm just going to edit right after this. Okay, let me read a few more comments. I don't want to just leave you guys hanging dry. Icy breath, yes. Yes, Snow Queen, you heard me. Helix needs a dang hug. Oh, Mango. I think the adventurer, or rather the pair of adventurers, one name I considered for Empyrean, because Helix, whenever he goes to a different world and instructs people there, he creates a persona on that world, and he instructs heroes that way. Basically, it's my way of describing why me as Helix plays different games, you know? The idea is that Helix has gone to that world. The world of Baldur's Gate, the world of The Witcher, the world of Dragon Age, the world of, could be something modern too. Heck, the world of Bramble, the world of Call of Duty, whatever it is that I'm playing that day. The world of Doom. Whoa! Helix's #1 enemies in this world are the Abyss. It's the Void, as it's called. The Void is the source of all evil in the universe, so demons, devils, shadows, nightmares, whatever is represented as evil in whatever world, it all originated in the Void, the great beyond. The Void is Helix's enemy, and I find it hilarious that the moment I mention Doom, which is all about killing demons and devils, Helix is like, he's just, there we go, there we go. I got him to tweak out on command. Nice. I think I'm getting the hang of this. I think I'm getting the hang of this Helix freaking out thing. I finished some parts of the Starboy script. Ooh, yay, Ariel. I'm happy to hear that. She was explaining womanhood and loss of innocence, but still needed to complete the quest to find the other unicorn. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the last unicorn. Go, kitty. Helix needs a dang hug. Yeah, Mango, funny little story. Helix, when he was working with that one hero, the name that Helix took on this world was Empyrean, the great diamond dragon. But of course, he might take on a different name or a different type of dragon, depending on which hero he's fighting. Because after all, that hero kind of has to say, yes, I slayed the dragon, but if people keep on seeing that dragon afterward, people are like, whoever slayed this dragon didn't do a good job. He doesn't look very slayed to me. Meanwhile, the dragon is fashionably flying through the sky like, who are you saying isn't slaying? Anyway. So yeah, he'll take on a different appearance, but for this hero, I gave this hero a name I almost gave Helix's character, Adonis. Ycey, how can I improve my language? Enunciate, Cassie, that's how. Enunciate your words. Pretty much that. Helix wants to play Doom. Mango, that is on the list. I want to play Doom. I mean, I think I'll make it like a Tuesday game on some days, or when I'm done with Plague Tale. I like making Mondays like an indie game. Maybe I'll switch out some of my Thursdays from The Witcher and play Doom, Because I do want to do some of that. Shoot, maybe I just might film it and then edit it later, but then again, I need a little more time for that. Helix freezing up here like, oh, pardon, hibernating. Welcome back, Amity. Lexi says he slayed the dragon. Yes, slay dragon. Ooh, I liked The Weeknd until I saw that handsome Squidward looking makeup. What? In that one video? That's probably not meant for me, that comment. Unicorns represent, for the most part, purity. When she became human, she lost that purity and innocence. Oh, it's depressing. Oh, the Abyss. Then he didn't have a good time during Dark Souls 1, especially against Manus, the father of the Abyss. Oh, Hala. Funny enough, Hala, when I played the Dark Souls, let's just say that Helix went, I need to finish editing that, I need to start editing that video together, the compilation video. I'll just say this, when I used to only play real-time strategy games, like Age of Empires, Total War games, games where you control armies, real-time strategy. And that's partly because my laptop at the time really couldn't handle any higher tier games than that, which is ironic because RTS games usually have you controlling tons of units on the screen, tons of detail. But, I couldn't play games like The Witcher, so I started playing Dark Souls 2. That was the first game I played after the RTS saga. Now, of course, I played other games, like, as a kid, I played Call of Duty 1, Halo Trial. Not even Halo the whole game, just the trial version. When I play Halo Combat Evolved on this channel, and I will in time, you will know which level I've played 100 times over, because I will have that thing memorized at this point. But story for another time. Is Stray on your list of games to play? Luna, I might just have to add that. I'll add it to the Monday games, the indie-style games. Yay, Tuesdays I get to hang out before VTM. So I'd love to hang out for Doom. Hey! Glad you can make it, Mango. But yeah, there was a while where I was playing mostly RTS games, and then I briefly played a game called Warband, where it was first person, or third person rather. It was a medieval game where you still fight with armies, but it's in like third person perspective rather than on a giant map. So I thought that was fun. My introduction to non-RTS games outside of Warband was Dark Souls. Is Dark Souls that good of a game? Anna, I would compare it to going to the gym. Playing a Dark Souls game is like going to a gym. Like, it's hard at first. It might even feel embarrassing at first. And it's hard throughout, but you also get stronger and you get better. And you start to love it, not because you enjoy the pain, I assume, or the defeat, but quite the opposite. It's that something is trying to keep you down. Something is trying to beat you and press you down. But for once in your life, you feel like you can actually push back and beat it by just getting good, by just applying a bit more force. And it works. Both in gym and in Dark Souls games and difficult games of that nature. So yes, it is that good, but in that regard. And of course, after playing the 3 Dark Souls games and a couple others like Don't Starve Together, a game that my most recent ex-girlfriend introduced me to, very fun game, glad we did. Glad she showed it to me, that was fun. After that's when I finally played Baldur's Gate. So it was nice not walking around, it was nice not having to walk around corners paranoid. Yeah. That is why on the Nautiloid in Baldur's Gate, I was walking around each corner, looking ahead, peering down the corner like, what's over there? What's over there? Then, once I let my guard down, I started romancing characters. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody actually likes me here. Everybody's not trying to kill me. You don't necessarily have to play it during Halloween, but I think you'd really enjoy Little Nightmares. Amity, I want you to know that is on next year's Halloween agenda. Little Nightmares, Inside. I'll play Phasmophobia with a few stream or chat members, no doubt. Probably add a few people in there. A little contest, I guess. Or maybe I'll just get a few friends like Remora, Gemini, and Green Dog if they have them, if they have that game. Or maybe one of the mods. A couple of my mods have it. Let's see. Helix and Naga episode. I don't write the Naga series, Athena, so you're going to have to ask the writer about that. But I'd be against it, because it seems a little too fan servicey, if you ask me. And not enough fans really want that. Like, who is that for, Maybe after I've actually established Helix as a character. Finally restarted Baldur's Gate, Lexi. Hey. Now that my blood feud with D&D is starting to fade. Oh gosh, do I even want to know about that blood feud? Anyway, ladies and gents, my voice is actually starting to disappear a little bit. So, next ASMR stream next week will be a little bit longer than this one. I apologize, but I think I'm going to be ending in a couple of minutes, if that's all right with everybody else here. Thank you again, though, for Luna and Maracas for donating. That was really kind of you. Amity for being the best mod ever that always shows up here. Thank you, everybody else, for joining today. But I'm going to be heading out for the day. I wish you all a great day. I think I'm just going to edit more of Helix's debut video after this. But thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. That was an ASMR stream, and this is Ycey Narrates, and this Star Dragon figure here is Helix. And I bid you adieu. Goodbye.